And this time when I did a fifth step, it was just clear. I mean, we just went down it point by point. Yes, every one of my resentments, I could see my part in it. All of the relationships I had ruined, I could see clearly what I had done. And somehow, and this is the miracle for me anyway, somehow I was able to do it relatively fearlessly. I remember when I did that one-page fourth step, I was crying like a baby when it was over. It took me about an hour to write it, and I just sat there and cried for about an hour and a half. Just putting it on paper and then seeing it and somehow realizing that opened the door to some whole new way of being in the world. It's not necessary for me to lie to you because it's not necessary for me to lie to myself. This is an amazing freedom. Okay? And so then this time the fifth step, it all worked. It clicked. And ever since then, I am basically compelled to spread the good news of this process of self-searching, leveling of pride, and confession of shortcomings. And frankly, it's applicable to every human being that ever walked the earth. But most people will never even get close to trying to do it. The vast majority of people will go, not me. I'm not the problem. Point the finger. Fill in the blank. She's the problem. He's the problem. They're the problem. Okay? It's not me, it's them. The whole victim-perpetrator game. And at every level, I had to get used to not playing that game anymore. For instance, I had to stop playing the victim of alcoholism. Well, this is a trap I see a lot of people fall into with a number of years of sobriety. They start blaming something called my disease for their misbehavior today, and they haven't had a drink in 10 years. Get over it. That's crap. That's just crap. Alcoholism is really a tiny little disease. Drug addiction is a very tiny little disease. It involves an obsession surrounding a chemical. That's it. When that obsession is broken, now the floodgates open and there's a realization of, I'm an alcoholic because I drank too damn much whiskey. That's why I don't care about the genetics and the dysfunctionality of the family. All of that was there. Doesn't matter. I drank too much whiskey. I don't drink whiskey today because I'm very happily and gratefully and peacefully sober. I do not stay sober because I'm an alcoholic. That's the miracle. I stay sober because I finally found peace and joy. And I'm not a victim of anything other than my own self-delusion. And so the onion peeling continues because selfishness, dishonesty, resentment, and fear but occasionally, less and less frequently, pop up and begin to try to take over my existence. And I have a remedy for that. See, I don't have to do guilt anymore. I just have to make amends when I screw up. Most people wallow in guilt. Oh my God, I'm so guilty. Oh my God. Why have you done this to me, God? It's like, God hadn't done any of this to me. I did it to myself. Rigorous honesty. That's where this thing really breaks through to. No more bullshit. That's what it comes down to. But I'll tell you what, there is the ego, which is the false self, the little self, the deluded self, is very, very intensely narcissistic and resists this process literally as if it went death. And from a psychological standpoint, it does mean death. The old person dies and doesn't want to die, and will fight and rationalize and lie and cheat and manipulate and but for years. So this is a process that requires great courage at first, but what begins to happen is the process stops being done out of fear that I might drink again, because I'm not afraid I'm going to drink again. I reached that place of neutrality 15 years ago. Now it's done out of gratitude. Now it becomes a spiritual adventure. Now, more and more of my true nature, which is the child of God, reveals itself, and easier and easier it is for me to admit that I was wrong, to laugh at myself, to realize, hey, forgive me, I misspoke. Please forgive me, I want to take that back and say. And the time frame between the time I realize I made a mistake and the time I actually make amends for it, step 10, gets like this. And that's your measure of spiritual health. is how long does it take you to realize that you said or did something you shouldn't have done? Your conscience ticking away at you. And you actually go to the other person and say, I made a mistake. I shouldn't have done that. Yes. How long does it take you for that? Because most people will go their entire lives and never admit it. Never admit it once. They live their whole lives as victims. And they just sink into this morass of self-hatred and victimhood and bitterness, and they become grumpy old men or bitchy old women. That's the norm. We are abnormal. Let me tell you what you can do in Alcoholics Anonymous. We were sicker than sick when we got here. We were sicker than the sickest when we got here. It's possible to get weller than well. I hear people talk about the meetings about, oh, we're normal people. I wish I was a normal person. I want to go, why in God's name would you aspire to be normal? Henry David Thoreau, 140 years ago, the great mass of men, people, live lives of quiet desperation. That's normal. You can be abnormally happy, abnormally joyous, abnormally free, abnormally useful, abnormally alive by following the principles in the 12 Steps to Alcoholics Anonymous. It is completely liberating. It's an amazing process. And what we learn in 4 and 5 is how to do it for the very first time. After that, it becomes a process that is self-reinforcing. I keep feeling better and more powerful and stronger all the time, and I just want to keep doing it. It's amazing. It's wonderful. And I actually have the power to help other people. Stunning. It says that, page 32. Why shouldn't we laugh? We've recovered and been given the power to help other people. My ego, Morgan the Magnificent, I wanted the power to control other people and to destroy them if I didn't like them. Okay? But that's not power. That's just an ego madness. And now I have true power. I have the power to help people. I have the power to give them a hug and a smile and say it's going to be okay. And absolutely mean it. And they know I mean it. It's actually going to be okay. Your future does not have to look like your past. I mean, this is a message that's so good that I do want to shout it from the rooftops. I really do. And to go out and just say, man, it's wonderful to be free. Free of 100 forms of fear, self-delusion, self-seeking, self-pity. To be fully alive on this day. What an incredible experience. Wow. Now then, second gear. I went way past step 5, didn't I? Forgive me. I get rolling.
Thank you, Mort.
There's another fellowship. It's called On and On and On. It's for people who can't shut up. That was a relapse. So please forgive me.
Okay, the only thing I'd like to say is next time just tell us how you really feel.